What is up? Happy Sunday. Hope everyone is enjoying this wonderful game in the morning. Just the best game ever, the greatest game. How is the weather in Chicago? Honestly, I have not looked yet. I don't think it's looking great. I haven't moved anything yet because I'm just going to wait until I see some videos, wait until a little bit closer to kickoff. We're still 2 hours away. What's up, everybody? Let's see here. Chance of snow showers. Feels like 22 degrees in Chicago. And they're saying, sorry, I just got to make this bigger. 23-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Yeah. I agree with Spock. This doesn't seem like the kind of weather where you just want to completely change whatever you thought about the game. Now, I understand why people get nervous because of the weather. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you're an idiot if you worry about the weather. But for me, unless the wind is super crazy and there's a bunch of rain and it's super slippery, I just don't worry about the rain. Like, I just don't worry, or the weather like that. So, good morning. Good morning. 2 wide receivers and 1 flex in full. Oh, someone already super chatted. I'm going to get to that. Felix, are you here, by the way? Felix, let me know. Type in the chat if you're here, and I'm going to answer your super chat. 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, full PPR. Wandale, Diggs, MHJ, Tet, Travion. Thanks, bro. No problem. I would go MHJ and Travion. That's who I would go with. That is who I would go with. All right. Felix, are you in here? Let me know. Let me know. I gotta reserve my DFS lineups over on DraftKings because I forgot to do it yesterday, which is what I always do. All right. All right, Felix, I'm going to answer your question, and then if you just say something in chat afterwards, I'll just go back to it. Flex need 2, DJ Moore, Tyrone Tracy, Khalil Shakir, and Jawan Jennings. Again, for me, the weather in this game in the morning doesn't heavily concern me. I don't think it's crazy to, acknowledge that the weather is there. What's up, Donald? But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting DJ Moore if I wanted to play him. I'm not sitting Roma Dunze if I wanted to play him. I'm not sitting DeAndre Swift. I'm not sitting anyone in that game. If I wanted to play them, my opinion is not changing. I have no idea who the kicker is in that game. No idea. No idea. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm thinking I'm playing DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir strictly just because I think Khalil Shakir is very safe. I think he should get, your 10 to 15-ish fantasy points. I don't think Khalil Shakir is really going to have a huge game for you in this matchup, especially because this is just not the most ideal matchup for something like that. But I do think he should still have a good enough game. So I got Shakir, and then I got DJ Moore. I just love what I saw to DJ Moore last week. I understand he's not going to do that well again. So don't take this as, oh, Nick thinks that he's going to put up the same amount of points. I obviously don't think that, but I do think he should have a good enough game there. So I'd go DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir. It just feels like as long as the weather isn't that crazy, that game has the upside to be the highest scoring game of the week. So I'm definitely rocking with DJ Moore. Definitely. All right. Thank you for the super chat. So DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir. I hope you're here, Felix, because if you're not, just let me know, and then I'll answer it again for you. It's still early. I agree. It is still early. Darnold versus the weather or Mariota versus Detroit defense. Yeah, I mean, I think as a whole, everyone panics just so much about the weather, when in reality, the weather does not play a large factor at all in any of these games. It says 6-mile-per-hour winds with a slight chance of rain. That doesn't move the needle at all. Again, you need like 30-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts to panic at all, to lower anything down. So that's how I'm rocking with it. Santos is Cario Santos not in? You also you'll have no idea if they were going to bench Cario Santos. You would not know until 12 o'clock anyways. Mario Santos, comfortable at Soldier Field, could take stage. I mean, I assume he's the kicker. I don't see anything about him being benched. Yeah, I agree. It is still early. Very early for you guys to panic. Do not panic yet about this game. Now I get, oh, Michael Pittman shits the bed or whatever. These games that are not in America are always going to be very, 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 very weird and are not games that I take to the heart. Right? If some of these guys severely underperform today, I'm not going to be, you know, super duper mad about it. It happens. The overseas games are notoriously very strange. So I'm not, um, you know, gonna tilt too hard on it. Otten, Theo Johnson, or Njoku. I would go Otten. Morning Nick, pick one. JMO, T-Mac, Aaron Jones, Monagai in standard. Oh, I gotta adjust my ranking of Aaron Jones. All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that now while I remember. Because I had Aaron Jones ranked pretty low, and now it seems like Aaron Jones is going to play. That'd be my assumption. So I have to bump Jordan Mason down. Jordan Mason was my RB22. He's going down. He's yelling timber, and Aaron Jones is going up into that range. I don't gotta adjust that for half PPR too. Yeah, I would go in a standard league. If Aaron Jones is playing, I'm playing Aaron Jones. Start Aaron Jones or Myers like Slayton. Slayton, Aaron Jones, or Myers. Okay, so the way that I look at this question really is, for me, most of the time, I'm just not going to be loving playing a guy that got traded 5 seconds ago to a team that I don't trust the most. That in a bad matchup. That's Jacoby Myers, right? Obviously, I think Jacoby Myers is better off in Jacksonville. His usage in Las Vegas this season made no sense. It makes no sense. So I think he will be getting better usage in this offense now. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I do slightly worry just about how that game environment will be. So I would rather just stay away from Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is a very talented player. I've been a big fan of Jacoby Myers for a while now, so don't take this as, oh, Nick hates Jacoby Myers, but it's more of I would prefer to play someone else in his first game as a Jaguar. So for me, Slayton, Aaron Jones, or Myers. I'm going to just read about Aaron Jones real quick. I assume he's playing. Aaron Jones looked really good last week. He's clearly the lead back. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. Obviously, the fact that he's as old as he is and he deals with these injuries, I'm not a doctor, but that's a high re-injury risk, which does concern me. But at the end of the day, I would play Aaron Jones 100%. If you wanted to play Slayton, I think Slayton has a lot of upside in this game. My biggest problem with Slayton, though, just as a blanket statement, is he struggles a lot just to bring in the football. Like there's times where he's wide open, he takes the defense over the top, and then he just drops the ball, right? And it's concerning. So I'd go with Aaron Jones personally. Moat Miles, thank you so much for the super. Moat Mills, sorry, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. What's good? How are you doing? I appreciate you. ETN or Brees Hall? That is a very good question. Very, very good question. Oh my god, I just accidentally left my phone on the space bar. My whole computer just did the fucking Harlem Shake. That was so funny. My bad. All right. ETN or Brees? That's a very good question. Right now, I have ETN 21, Brees 20. Now, going up against the Browns is a really tough matchup for running backs, but this should be a competitive game. And what I mean by this is this doesn't feel like the kind of game where they're just throwing Brees Hall, on the back burner. Because this should be a competitive game. It might not be the most high-scoring game. I would be genuinely really, really shocked if that was the highest scoring game of the week, the Browns versus the Jets. But when it is a competitive game, they're not going to have to go away from the run instantly, and you're going to be able to see a lot of Brees in that game. So I would lean with Brees. ETN also doesn't have the best matchup ever, so I just trust Brees a little bit more. He just feels a little bit safer to me. So I would go with Brees because I think both those games will be competitive, but if Davis Mills locks in, like he could get ETN. They could put ETN in a bad position. Make sure you guys do hit that like button. So for me, I'm going Brees Hall. Michael Brown, thank you for the super chat. Start 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex. Tedero, Keenan Allen, Brees Hall, Jalen Warren, Monagai, also Stafford or Goff. Okay, for the quarterback, you're going to go Stafford over Goff. For me, the reason behind this is for the 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 Detroit Lions to beat the Commanders, they don't need to have Jared Goff go out there and sling for 300 plus yards and 3 plus touchdowns. They don't need to do that. Goff could throw 2 touchdowns, they run in a million touchdowns, and they cruise to victory. I don't think Marcus Mariota is going to keep this game very competitive. So for that reason, I would go Stafford against the 49ers because that should be a game that is a competitive game. It shouldn't be a complete and utter blowout from either side. So definitely Stafford, in my opinion. And then for the running backs, it's got to be Brees Hall and Jalen Warren. I like Kyle Monagai. I don't know how much to move him up, though, because they're saying they're going to go with the hot hand approach. I think Swift is going to be the guy to most likely get the opportunities first. And I would still have DeAndre Swift ranked as like a must-start guy. So I think Monagai is definitely startable. He is definitely in the range of running backs that you feel all right about playing, but he's not a guy that I think people should be, trying to, do everything possible to get him in your lineup, right? He just doesn't seem like that kind of a play. So I'm going to go Brees Hall, Jalen Warren. I'm going to go Keenan Allen, and I'm going to go Tedero McMillan. So Monagai is the odd man out. Again, I like Kyle Monangai. I think he's a very talented player. We have very clearly seen that. So don't come at me as like, oh, Nick doesn't like the guy. I think he's very talented. I even talked about him in the summer when Swift was, perceived to be the guy. So I do think he's a good player, but for me, he just kind of has to be the odd man out just because we don't know the amount of looks he's going to get, right? Tedero, he's playing. He's the wide receiver 1 on the Panthers. Keenan Allen, the wide receiver 2 on the Chargers. Brees Hall, the RB1. Jalen Warren, the RB1. Monagai could be the RB1. He could see 3 touches. We saw this a couple weeks ago, right? He blows up against the Bengals. He elbow drops the Bengals, I believe was the game. And then the next week, he comes back and does nothing, right? So while I do like him, I think he's a good player. To me, he's just the odd man out. Pats or Chargers defense, Pats better unit. I do agree with you that I think the Patriots defense on paper, right? If we're not looking at the matchup, we're not looking about anything. The Patriots defense is a better unit. I do agree with that. In terms of my rankings, I have the Patriots at defense 12, Chargers at defense 13. Aaron Rodgers and that offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers is very unpredictable. I would not be shocked if they were really bad up against the Chargers. I would not be shocked if Aaron Rodgers couldn't get the ball moving. I wouldn't be shocked if that was a dreadful game. I also wouldn't be shocked if Aaron Rodgers unloaded the clip and threw for 3 touchdowns. That would not shock me at all. The Buccaneers are in a similar spot, right? The Buccaneers offense is kind of dwindling down, right? Being worse than we perceived from the start of the season. But now they're coming out the bye week. I would just lean with the Patriots just because I think Baker is more prone to potentially making some egregious decisions compared to Aaron Rodgers. So while I don't think either of these defenses are the ideal starts of the week, right? The guys that I'd be banging the drum for, I'm still going to play the Patriots defense. I would just feel better about that. I do think they are a better defense. So yeah, that's how I would lean. That's how I would lean. You good false prophet? I believe you. I believe you. Captain Spock, Tyron Tracy or MHJ? I'd go MHJ. Rams, Ravens, or Jags defense? I would go with the Rams. Flex start Odunze with the weather or Jawan Jennings? I would go with Odunze. You can't sit Odunze. I want to hear the reasoning so I feel better about my choice. What was the question? This is our Colts. I don't even see his question. Am I fucking stupid? We know that already. Spock definitely answered his question. I don't see it. What's up, Caitlin? I'm blind. I'm legally blind. Do I flex Loveland or JCM? Loveland. My boy Drake London is cooking. Thank God. Yeah, he is cooking. He's the GOAT. Make sure you guys do join the Discord. Obviously, I'm not talking in the Discord right now. There are a lot of people talking in the Discord. Make sure you guys are in there. It's a fun time in there. I'll be in there during the games today. Parker Washington versus Houston or Gadsden versus Pittsburgh. I would go Gadsden, better matchup. I'm going Kincaid over Kittle as a Dolphins fan. That's fine. Anytime I have players in the same tier in the rankings, obviously I rank them based upon how I think they'll finish, right? I do like the guys in the same tier. When I have one guy ranked above the other, I obviously like them more, but they're in the same tier for a reason. It's not like I feel 9,000 times better about Kittle than I do about Kincaid. I do think Kittle's like 90 times better than Kincaid in terms of like in a vacuum skill wise, but I definitely don't think that playing Kincaid over Kittle's crazy, especially since Kincaid kind of owns the Dolphins. Um, as sad as that is. Guillotine PPR start 3. Henry, Judkins, Rico, Nico, Olave, Rashad White, Menenge, DK, Diggs, and Wandale. Start 3. We're playing Rico, we're playing Henry, and we're playing Nico. DS Box, thank you so much. Traded Collins and Kamara for AJ Brown and Kenneth Walker. Thoughts? Also picked 2 in the flex. Kittle, Menenge, Parker Washington, Flowers, and Kamara last time. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't love that trade just because I do not trust. And Sutton is not droppable. I don't know if you're just messing around, but there's no way you are dropping Cortland Sutton. I don't love this trade. I don't hate this trade either. Kamara is literally useless. As useless as it gets. If you cut Kamara, I'm not judging you. I am not judging you. Don't if you are like, dude, Kamara's just holding my team hostage, I agree with you. He sucks. Like he's really bad this year. And I don't like to say like a certain player sucks because maybe Kamara actually doesn't suck and it's more just that the offense itself sucks and the quarterback sucks, right? But it's pretty tough out there for Kamara. So if Kenneth Walker could pick things up, I think you won this trade easily. I think it's fair. I'm not going to sit here and say that you lost the trade. I just don't love it because to me, this really just feels like in a vacuum, it's Collins for AJ Brown, right? Because I think it's going to be very hard to ever actually talk yourself into trusting Kenneth Walker. Now, can you talk yourself into playing Kenneth Walker? Yes. You could talk yourself into Kenneth Walker having a huge game. But will that actually ever happen? Right? So that's what makes me a little bit more indifferent. But I do think, the more I've thought about it, I would prefer AJ Brown and Kenneth Walker. So for me, I'm going to play Flowers and Kittle. Monangai, I don't trust the amount of touches he is going to get at all. Again, if Kyle Monangai goes out there and out touches Swift, fine. I would be shocked if that happened, though. I don't think that is even close to the most likely outcome to happen in this game. So if I don't think that's close to the most likely outcome, then in your scenario, when you have other guys that are clearly going to be cemented in for a decent amount of touches, I would not be starting someone that I don't trust as much. So for me, it would be AJ Brown and Walker. I think that's the best part of the trade. And then Kittle and Flowers. If Washington was in a much better matchup, bang the drum for Washington, right? Bang the drum for him. It's a bad matchup. Flowers has been reliable as what's up, Mega Pooster. He's been a top 32-ish guy with Lamar. Has the upside to be a top 5 guy, maybe even the wide receiver 1. Kamara is just dust. And Monangai, we don't know about the touches. I feel like Kittle's going to bounce back. He just had a bad game. Should bounce back to have a bigger game. So for me, it would be Kittle and it would be Flowers. Thank you for the super chat. And definitely a Dunze. I'm not playing Washington against the Texans if I don't have to. For the shoe, beat the Falcons. Myers, Tez, Parker, Slayton, or Coker. Go Colts. Nay. That song is fire, bro. Straight heat from Seth. They should have had him in Germany singing the song in German. For me, this is Tez versus Parker versus Slayton. Not playing Coker. Don't trust Myers. For me, it's Tez. The reason why it's Tez is because against the Patriots, I could see Tez being a top 12 wide receiver. I can't see Parker doing that. I don't really see Slayton doing that due to just how Slayton has played. I don't think, if you're to pickle and you have to play Parker, it's fine because I think Parker should get enough volume to be fine. But Parker doesn't seem like the kind of guy in this game that's going to drop a crazy point total, to score 20 plus fantasy points. I just don't see that. So for me, I'm going to go with Tez. I know Tez has kind of been all over the place, but he's the number 2 wide receiver on an offense that can turn things up to the maximum and have a big game. So for me, I would go ahead and get Tez Johnson in my lineup. Everyone got Jet shirts on a Bills eating breakfast at Donde's Donuts. Where the hell is that? Donde Donuts. That was at Florida. I'm stupid. Yeah, Tez. I think Parker's fine today. Again, it's just not super exciting. That's really kind of it. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not close. Who should I start? Henderson, White, or Monungai? I would go Henderson. I would go Henderson. I want to move Henderson up my rankings. The adjusted version of the rankings are going to be out probably at 12 once the inactives are out, I guess. The inactives are in, right? Yeah, Henderson for me. Henderson. Shit, where am I at? All right, we'll just scroll down a little bit. Need a kicker. I'm going to be honest with you. Asking me a kicker question, like, I do research about the kickers, but I never feel super confident in my takes on kickers. Gun to the head. Let's see. Santos, I got it 10. Loop, 6. Little, 17. McManus, 15. I would play Santos. I gotta remove some of these kickers from my rankings too that are out. Yeah, I don't love kickers, if I'm being honest with you. No problem. We bleed blue. Is Jerry Jeudy startable against the Jets? Jerry Jeudy is never startable. If you have to play him, this is the game to do it. But yeah, I don't view Judy's a guy. Like, I get why you wouldn't cut him. Right? Because maybe you think that, they'll go to Shedeur Sanders and that can fix things. I do think that's possible. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, Shedeur Sanders is the fucking GOAT. He's not. But at least maybe the offense would look a little bit better. So I get why you're holding him. If you ever had to play him, it would be this week. But I don't trust him. Kittle or Fanning? Kittle. Boys, Mahomes is on bye. Caleb or Goff? Snowy in Chicago. The weather doesn't look that crazy. I would go Caleb. Gadsden or Walker? Gadsden. Kamara, Tez. Bench 1. Parker, Watson. Zacchaeus. I'm benching Zacchaeus. Let's break Rodgers back. And they apologized for that, and then they lost. Kamara, Tez. I agree. Salute. Did I overpay? Traded Pitts and Dowdle for Josh Jacobs? Yes. Yes, you did. Right now, I'd rather have Rico than Josh Jacobs. As crazy as that may sound. I would rather have Rico. Now, I think if you're looking straight up on safety, Josh Jacobs is about 9,000 times more safe than Rico Dowdle, though. So while I would prefer Rico Dowdle, you probably feel better deep. Oh my God, Daniel Jones just fumbled the ball. You feel so much better having Josh Jacobs because he is just attached to an offense that's going to be good, right? The Panthers could easily shit the bed in any given game, but Rico's been so good. I still really like Rico. And I'd prefer Rico over Josh Jacobs, as crazy as that sounds. But I guess calling that an overpay, I don't think that's technically an overpay. It's a pretty even trade, and it's just a little bit safer to get Jacobs. So I get it. DeMarcado or Cabrera? DeMarcado. Wandale, MHJ, Quentin Johnson, Addison, Diggs, pick 2. I'll go MHJ and Wandale. Caleb or Goff this week? I'm going Caleb. Kittle or Fannin? I would go Kittle. McMillan's in, so you don't have to worry about that. It would be Parker Washington, though. Notorious, I see the belt. Tell me where you rank Bret Hart. I'm going to be honest with you. I am far too young to, hit Bret Hart with the Gawk Gawk 9000 special. I do think Bret Hart was good. I have seen clips of Bret Hart before. I am much more of, I was really big into wrestling when I was young. So from below 2010, like 2005 to 2010. And then I started wrestling a lot again in 2021. So I'm not going to act like I know a crazy amount about Bret Hart. If I'm being honest with you, obviously I know who he is. But so yeah. Chill, man. All right. Yeah, spot kicker is our part of the game, but a lot of people don't play with kickers. Spoiler alert: a lot of people don't play with kickers anymore. Um, a lot of people have given up on kickers because, in my opinion, kickers are the most random part of fantasy football. The most random, and there is such little research that can truly be done on kickers. Caleb or Stafford? I would go Caleb, but if you want to go Stafford, go ahead. Good morning, and go with your gut always because they're similar to me. Good morning. Need a wide receiver too. Keenan, Parker Washington, or J-Mo? I'm going Keenan. I don't know how anyone can play J-Mo. I just don't. I mean, that's not the kind of game, in my opinion, where J-Mo has a big game, right? When it's a close game or they're trailing, that's how J-Mo goes crazy. Yo, Gadsden or Walker? Gadsden. Um, I agree with Spock. Kickers are the biggest crapshoot. Saints, the Santos, and the weather and the wind. Look, again, the wind doesn't appear to be that crazy. They're saying 15-mile-an-hour winds with 25-mile-an-hour gusts. If you don't want to play Santos in that, go ahead and don't play him. Again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know. I'm not a huge kicker guy either, to be completely honest with you. I don't know a crazy amount about kickers. And I think a lot of fantasy analysts probably would say the exact same thing that they don't do a crazy amount of kicker research. Caleb was a dog last week, though. He was. What's up, Wells? How you doing, man? Need one, Marks, Jones, or Hendo? I'd go Hendo. DJ Moore, Quentin Johnson, and DJ Moore. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Henderson or Keenan Allen? Henderson. Best of luck, Caitlin. Best of luck. This is my team is down bad in that league. I've lost, I don't even know how many games in a row. I think it's 3. It might be 4. Team is on a downward spiral right now. Team's down bad. Ever since Cam Scattaboo got hurt. Godfather or Goodfellas? I like the Godfather better. That's not to shit on Goodfellas, though. Goodfellas is very good. I just like the Godfather a little bit more. I think the Goodfellas, though, is much more rewatchable, in my opinion, compared to the Godfather. The Godfather is so serious, right? That's like a movie where if you look down at your phone for half a second, you might be missing stuff. It's a little too serious. I like it. I like the Godfather. It's one of my favorite movies, but I definitely think if you were just showing someone, you tried to get someone into mob movies, I think actually showing them Goodfellas would be better than The Godfather because, The Godfather is it just takes so long. It's slow, especially if someone is younger than me, people with cooked attention spans. Hendo over Keenan, I agree. DeMarcado, Kamara, or Blake Corum? I would go DeMarcado and Kamara. You like The Godfather better? I also think The Godfather is better, but I think Goodfellas is just a little bit more rewatchable. A little bit more palatable for the first time. is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. Okay. I need, I think, 6 more lineups. Go Colts. Yay. All right. Reserved everything. Well, the real Daniel Jones is back. Will the real Daniel Jones please stand up? Danny being Danny, baby. Spock, you never let me down. Fact. Spock will never let you down. Juwan or Schultz? I'd go Juwan. Tracy, Tez, or DeMarcado? I would go Tez. Live long and prosper. Yes, sir. Schultz or Slayton? Schultz or Slayton? I would go Schultz. Make sure everyone wishes Spock a great time for his birthday. I hope you're having a good time, Spock, by the way. I saw the pictures. Spock has been posting pictures in the Discord of his vacation. And some of these pictures this man takes, you would think he's like a professional photographer. It's so beautiful. I have Juwan tight end. Yeah, I agree with you. It is close. What's crazy to say that Dolph Ziggler is the best seller of all time? I don't think that's that crazy to say. I actually think that might be a true statement. I think he is the best seller. I don't think that's really that crazy to say. Spock, you're a big get smart guy. That's funny. A lot of people are talking about, is Frankenstein the new movie? What's the new movie that's on Netflix? Is it Frankenstein? The Frankensteiner. Oh, now I know what you're talking about. But yeah, Frankenstein apparently is really good on Netflix. I've not seen it, but maybe this is just one of those movies that the girls like because the one dude is shirtless in the movie I saw. Very nice. And I saw a bunch of people talking about it on Twitter. Darius Slade or Tez Johnson? Tez Johnson for me. Happy game day, ladies and gentlemen. Nick, Captain Spock, and chat sub. What's up, man? How you doing? How you done? How you done? How you done? PJ Washington, K9, or Monty, and PJ. Parker Washington. PJ Washington. Is that an NBA player? The fuck? How did the Colts already get the ball back? See, this is what happens when I'm not like fully locked into the games. I'm like half paying attention, and then magically, I thought, did Penix get picked off? Nah, dude, you're never going to bench Bowers. Don't feel bad about starting Bowers. No one should. A lot of people love to do like oh, Nick, you touted Bowers as a start, you're an idiot. Like, let's be real. Was anyone going to sit Bowers? Like, I'm not talking about this comment. I'm just speaking in general. Was anyone ever going to sit Bowers? The answer is no. After the motherfucker scored 3 touchdowns, you were not going to sit him. I'm 100% confident no one will sit him. I understand the matchup wasn't the best, but you're just not sitting him. All right. Monangai or Tracy? I would go I'd go Monangai. CJ Stroud is out, yeah. Full PPR, tight end. Njoku or Schultz, Charbonnet or Basin. I would go Charbonnet, and I would go Schultz. Vidal gonna bust again. Vidal has gone crazy, bust, crazy, bust in the last 4 games. So, if that's a pattern, he's gonna have a big game tonight. Is Pierce a potential every week start, boys? Yeah. Now, I would be lying if I said that I 100% trust him to be like a top 24 asset. What's up, Ty? How you doing, man? I think if you are banging the drum for him to be like a must start, I think that's crazy. But yeah, he's definitely a start worthy asset, like in the wide receiver 3 flex range. Pick one for the flex. I would go Aaron Jones. Smash the like button. What's up, Brian? Factual. Vidal, Monangai, or Tracy. I'm going Vidal. McCarthy or Love. And what most people's take on Jaden Daniels. My take on Jaden Daniels is it would be very stupid for the Washington Commanders to rush him back. That's my take. They're saying 3 to 6 weeks. What's the record right now? I'm not trying to shit on the Commanders, obviously, because my team sucks. I'm a Dolphins fan. They're 3-6. They're going to lose to the Lions today. They'll probably beat the Dolphins. They'll lose to the Broncos. So that's the next 3 weeks. 1-2. Right? And you're 3-6. So that's 4-8. So you're 4-8. Are you bringing him back? No. Right? Say that he misses another game against the Vikings. Say maybe they beat the Vikings. You're 5-8. Do you bring him back? In my opinion, no. So I would say he is droppable. Now, if you're in a league where you could put like an out player on the IR, go ahead and do that. But I would. I know it's not his throwing arm. It's just bad. McCarthy or Love, I would go. I would go Love. Non PPR, who should I flex? Non PPR, I'm going to Olave still. Loveland or Otten? I would go Loveland. Otten's a little bit safer. I like the stream facts. I have Gibbs. Oh, someone super chatted. Thank you, Michael. I'm gonna answer this question first. I have Gibbs and Kyron. Your opponent is Judkins and Barkley. Oh boy, ooh, it's the running back matchup. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Garrett Wilson, Egbuka, Odunze, AJ Brown. So this is another one of those questions where it is truly a damned if you do, damned if you don't. What I mean by that is when you have 4 guys that I want in my lineup every single week, you are bound to make a wrong decision. Now, for me, I'm not sitting Odunze. I'm not sitting Odunze because based on Odunze shitting the bed in such historic fashion last week, playing as bad as he did, the pendulum just has to swing in the complete opposite direction. And I really think Odunze is one of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL. I really think that. And I really don't worry about the weather. Now, if you're someone that worries more about the weather, then I'm probably just going to go Egbuka and Garrett Wilson. But I'm not too worried about the weather again. I think Odunze is going to be fine. For me, this is just a blanket statement. For me, we talk about this every year. The weather matters when the weather is actually serious. And what I mean by that is when there is crazy snow where you can't see, when the game is so cold and it's so windy they can't throw the ball, when it's a crazy rain plus crazy wind, monsoon, like the Browns versus the Dolphins. That's when you don't want to be playing guys in those games. This appears like it's going to be slight snow and a little bit windy. Not you throw the ball, the thing hooks completely. It's like a golf shot when you hit the ball and you slice it and it flies like straight to the left when we're hitting it straight. There's games where it's very windy like that. This doesn't appear to be one of them. So I'm playing Rome and I'm playing Egbuka. Again, Egbuka's been down bad, but they're coming out the bye. They should be much better. I love Garrett Wilson, and it pains me to have him as a sit. But again, this game against the Browns doesn't feel like the kind of game where Garrett Wilson also is like a clear top 5 guy. The reason why is because they're not going to be down, in my opinion, bad late to where Justin Fields just has to heave it up. It should be a lower scoring, competitive, close game. I'm not saying Garrett Wilson is like a sit. He's my wide receiver 13. But I just think the upside's a little bit lower in this game. So I would go Egbuka and Odunze. And if you want to be safe, I would go Egbuka and Garrett Wilson. But I don't mess with any safety here. I think you're actually crazy if you sit Odunze. I'm in a bad spot. All my running backs are to buy/out, except Rico Dow and Chuba Hubbard. The next available are Gainwell, Jennings, Isaiah Davis, DeMarcado, Justice Hill, and Corum. Any advice? Pick up DeMarcado and play him instead of Chuba Hubbard. Starting Barkley and Dowdle, flex Judkins or Monungai, Judkins. Monungai, Hendo, ETN. I would go ETN. Man, Bucky. I don't understand why they didn't put him on the IR. I said this at the time when he got hurt. Why was he not put on the IR? And every week we keep going. Why is he not on the IR? He didn't practice again at all. Now, I think he's going to come back soon, but the problem with the NFL is they are so hesitant to really release us some crazy information. What I mean by that is we don't really have a lot of information on the situation. It's just he's not practicing. But why is he not practicing? How far along is he? Like with Godwin, they gave us a pretty concrete timeline. Godwin's coming back in late November or early December. Whereas with Bucky, it's like he'll be back at some point, basically, right? We don't have like a clear timeline. Swift was just upgraded to active. Should I start him or Manungai? I have both of them. Great question, Adrian. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, yo, Adrian. Thank you for the super chat. My opinion on this scenario is they said they are going to go with the hot hand approach. In my opinion, the guy to get the first crack at it, to knock on the door, be the guy to get the first touch, will be Swift. Swift and Manungai both played very good a few weeks ago up against the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know, Nick, the Cincinnati Bengals are like the easiest matchup ever. I know, right? Don't come at me and say that that's like a super difficult matchup. I know, right? They both play very well. Maybe it wasn't the Bengals. Who was it up against? No, he played well up against the Bengals last week. Manungai was the Saints. They both played very well up against the Saints, right? Swift is the RB6 up against the Saints. Kyle Manungai was the RB. I'm trying to pull it up. Was the RB12, right? So you're thinking, okay, maybe we're going to get more Manungai, right? Sorry for slapping the mic. That would make the most sense, right? If both of them played well, maybe this becomes much more of a split. And then we get to week 8, right up against the Ravens. Hey, they both had these great games. Let's see what happens. Then Manungai gets just 7 carries for 24 yards, 2 PPR points as the RB52. So while I think Manungai definitely deserves credit for what he did, while he is fine as a speculative start if you are in a pickle, like some of my fantasy teams at the running back position, if you have Swift and Manungai, the answer is very clearly Swift because he's going to get the first crack at it. And as long as he doesn't completely mess that up, he should be good. Now, Manungai could still have a good game. They could both coexist and both have good games against the Giants. But for me, it's definitely Swift. It's definitely Swift. And I also don't think the team is in a scenario, right, where we just saw Manungai have a huge game. Why would they rush Swift back if he wasn't 100% healthy? That's kind of my opinion on things. You're not going to force him to come back. And why the fuck do they keep running it on 4th down? Maybe they passed earlier on 4th down, so maybe that was just a wrong take. Man, oh man, JT. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Should just throw it to Pittman. One-on-one ball to Pittman. I like Pittman against most DBs in a one-on-one situation. Oh man, he should have cut inside. If JT cut inside, I mean, obviously that's what's that called? Hindsight is 2020, right? Obviously, he can't see the above camera angle that we can see, right? He's not playing football like it's GTA. So, yeah, I would go with Swift 100%. 100%. Man, this is a pretty good game for a morning game. All right, Tracy or Theo? I'd go Tracy. Which one do I trade? Kittle, Bowers, or Fannin? I would get rid of Fannin. Good morning, Brian. Parker or QJ? Man, that's tough. Parker or QJ? I think I'd go QJ. It's close though. They're ranked 31 and 32. I mean 31 and 33. So it's close. It is close. I just realized I just like showed my McDonald's cup. I'm drinking an iced tea. Sometimes they put your like phone number on there. It would have been funny if I just like lift this up. My phone number was just on screen. I have Devontae Smith, wide receiver 1 and Keenan Allen, wide receiver 2, Ted McMillan at the flex. I have Jawan Jennings, Mark Andrews on the bench. With Kate Otten at tight end. Would you change anything? I would play Mark Andrews over Otten. Hey, Rav, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. Rams or Ravens? Olave or Dunze? Swift or Vidal? Running back, pick 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. Okay. This is one of those where we're going to type it out. We're going to type it out. All right. We're going to save the defense for last because I think that's like more of a layup. Okay. Olave versus Dunze. We're playing a Dunze. I have nothing like, again, the wind does not overwhelmingly concern me. Obviously, would we prefer for a Doomsday's game to have no wind? Yes, 100%. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh, the wind doesn't play. It plays a slight factor. But when the wind isn't crazy, like when it's not like a tornado out there, he'll be fine. Vidal versus Swift, it has to be Swift. Why does it have to be Swift? Because Swift's going to be getting the first crack at it. We saw a couple weeks ago where Monangai and Swift, they both have a big game up against the Saints, and then up against the Ravens, Swift has the huge game, and Dunze is just, warming up the bench. So it's got to be Swift. Then, for your other question, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. I'm going Hendo. Oh, I lied. I'm going Jalen Warren. I'm going ETN. I'm going to go Devonta Smith. I'm going to go. Oh, man. I can't say Kittle. I got to go Kittle. Then at the flex, we're going Hendo. Adunze and Swift. Jalen Warren. Travis Etienne. Devontae Smith. George Kittle. And Henderson. Now, Kittle is just kind of one of those where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That is how I feel about Kittle. If you sit Kittle and he has a big game, you're going to feel so stupid. If you play Goddard instead, who might just get 3 targets, you may feel very stupid, even though Goddard, with his 3 targets, could score 3 touchdowns, right? We know how good that offense is. So for me, I just cannot sit Kittle. Now, if Kittle shits the bed again, then we're going to have a much bigger question mark. Loveland, I love, but with Cole Kmet back, it's hard to truly bang the drum. So, for me, Kittle, Adunze, Swift, Jalen Warren, Etienne, Devontae, and Hendo. And then defense, Rams or Ravens. I got Rams as my defense numero 8. I got the Ravens at 10, so I would go Rams. So Rams, Adunze, Swift, Jalen Warren, Etienne, Devontae Smith, Kittle, and Henderson. There you go. Andrew, thank you for the super chat, my man. Mac Jones or J.J. McCarthy. Now, I love Mac Jones. I am a Mac Jones truther, but Mac Jones has kind of fallen over the last few weeks. J.J. McCarthy has a great matchup up against the Ravens on paper. Do I trust J.J. McCarthy? No. I'd be lying if I said that I did. But J.J. McCarthy's matchup is significantly better than Mac Jones is. We've seen 2 games as a top 14 quarterback for J.J. McCarthy, 1 game outside the top 30. So he's had 2 good games, 1 game where he is absolutely dog shit. This game against the Ravens, look, if the Vikings were to keep this game close, it's going to be high scoring, right? You already know Lamar Jackson's going to come out there and score a lot. All right, the Ravens need to win these games. Lamar is going to play big. So for me, I definitely got to go J.J. McCarthy. I just like the matchup too much. Penix, get rid of the ball, bro. Sometimes Penix just like I don't know what it is. It seems like he has like the Justin Fields-itis, which is like just stand there and think you have way more time than you actually do. I'm going JJ over Mac Jones. Roger McCarthy, I'm facing Jefferson. I would go with McCarthy. Again, Rodgers to me just feels like you're just going to go out there and you're just accepting, hey, I'm going to get 15 or 16 points, and that's okay. Right? That's really kind of just what you're doing. Like, I'm going to get 15 to 16 points. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we're cooked. Right? That's kind of how I feel about that. So I would go with McCarthy. McCarthy, again, there's not a long sample size, right? Rodgers has a 8,000 year sample size of being in the NFL, but the matchup is just way better than Rodgers' matchup. And again, Rodgers really just doesn't feel like he has much ceiling. And to me, that's a big problem when it feels like your quarterback. Like, I know he had 2 big games this year, but those were in good matchups. Like, I just don't feel like against the Chargers he's scoring that many points. I just don't think so. That's how I feel about that scenario. It's really just Rodgers just feels too boring to me. Vidal or Aaron Jones, full PPR. I'm going Vidal. I know I touted him so highly last week, and I know Aaron, thank you for the super chat. You got fucked last week. Like, let's just keep it real. You got fucked over due to my hype of Vidal. I get it. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, that didn't happen, right? Let's forget about it. No, you don't really want to forget about a guy that messes up that bad in such an easy matchup. But losing Joe Alt sucks. Losing Joe Alt is so bad, but Vidal is a big piece in this offense. They want to run the ball. Swift is playing. And Vidal has been bad, good. I mean, it was good, bad over his last 4 starts. So based on the trend, he should be good again. So, and the problem with me with Aaron Jones is I'm fine playing Aaron Jones, but Aaron Jones has gotten banged up so many times this year, and he's old. And what that tells you is he might be playing again, and he could re-aggravate that injury. So I'm not saying everyone panic. Don't start Aaron Jones, but maybe calm your titties down a little bit on Aaron Jones, in my opinion. I would go Vidal. Zay, should I start Tet with the hamstring, Vidal, Tracy, or Otten? Great question. I saw a video yesterday from an event that Tedero McMillan was at yesterday. I don't know what the fuck it was. Let me try to find it. And he was like dancing. And he looked fine to me. Quarterback Bryce Young warming up with Tedero McMillan, who's active today. Yeah, I mean, he seems to be running normally. Again, I understand this is just like a 2-second video clip. I'll play the video clip. Because someone recorded this. This isn't like the NFL or something. All right. So, he seems to be maneuvering normally. So, I don't know. I know that this is not like super fast motion game speed, but like the way he cut back, like that looks normal to me. Here's another clip. Yeah, he looks good to me. He looks ready to rock. I have no idea if this looks like choppy to you guys. Oh, and then this was him yesterday dancing. I was like, you know what? He looks good moving. He's definitely playing. Look at that shit. Oh yeah. Look at him go. So I am not very worried about Tedero. I'm playing Tet. Again, if Bryce Young was more consistent, we'd be talking about Tet as a top 18 wide receiver weekly. And that's what I thought we were going to get in the summer. Like, when I was talking him up heavily, I thought we were going to get the Bryce Young from down stretch of last season. I'm going Tedero, though. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Wan'Dale Robinson or James Williams? Wan'Dale. DeMarcado, Slayton, or Njoku DeMarcado? Do we think Jacoby? I don't like Jacoby Myers. Taylor's RB1, RB2, and flex. Should I start? You're playing Henry and Warren. Devontae is having career high stats across the board. Yeah, Devontae's been playing very well. Need 2 wide receivers, full PPR. Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle. I would go Garrett Wilson and AJ Brown. I mean, yeah, Garrett Wilson and Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle plays very good against the Bills. The Dolphins suck against the Bills. Okay. But Jalen Waddle is good against the Bills. Okay. He's like our one sole bright piece every time we play them. I guess outside of A-Chain. The Dolphins are so bad, man. And it just hurts me deep down that they're this bad. It's so bad. Andrew, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Full PPR, Hendo, Vidal, Monagai, Hurts, or Stafford? Great question. Now, Stafford and Hurts have been playing so well. I find it very hard to sit Jalen Hurts. But I think I have Stafford ranked way too low, and I think I'm going to have to adjust that. Like, the more I keep thinking about Stafford, the more I want to move him up. I'm going to move... Dude, I can't even move him any higher than this. He's already 11. That seems high. I have Daniel Jones ahead of him. He'll probably outscore Daniel Jones, but... I think I'm going Hurts. Hurts, something about Hurts just feels so safe. Like, the fact that he could just run in 2 touchdowns and completely negate a shitty passing day is something that, like, really no other quarterbacks have, right? So, for me, I'm going to go Hurts. If you wanted to go Stafford, I wouldn't judge you. I'm going to go Hurts. I have Hurts at 6, and I have Stafford 11. And for the running backs, Monagai is getting the bench. Again, not because I think Monagai is a bad player, but because if I can't lock you at running back to get 10 touches, and 10 touches is low. If I can't lock you in for getting 10 touches, it's very hard for me to make a strong argument to actually start you. And I would not pencil in Monangai to get 10 plus touches. Because again, we saw a few weeks ago, he has a great game. Swift does a great game. And then the next game, there's no Kyle Monangai. It's just Swift, right? And if Swift was hurt, based on what we just saw last week from Kyle Monangai, why in the hell would Swift be playing? Right? You wouldn't force him back. It's not like going up against the Giants. Like, I think the Giants are a good team, but fine enough team. It's not the easiest matchup ever, but you don't need to force the guy back. Especially if you're sitting in the Bears scenario where you're thinking about the playoffs. Right? You're 5-3. You're thinking about the future of this team a few weeks down the road, right? So why rush it, right? Why rush him back if he's not healthy? So in my opinion, he's fully healthy. I'm going Hendy, Vidal, and Jalen Hurts. Shout out from Wyoming. What's up, man? I need one running back and one flex. Great question. ETN, Herbert's your quarterback. Could move the needle on me to go with Allen over Metcalf. I have Metcalf 23, Allen 24. Since you have Herbert, that would bump Keenan Allen up. So I'd go Keenan, and I would go ETN. Jonathan Taylor is back. He's always back, baby. Oh, did he get banged up? I honestly was not paying attention. See, that's the biggest problem with streaming during the games, I know, is that I can't actually pay that good of attention. So if something crazy happens, I'm also not watching like on live TV. So I'm watching on like NFL.com, which is probably like behind whatever you guys are watching, if you're on like Hulu or whatever, watching the game. Need 3 wide receivers and half PPR. McConkey, Debo, Diggs, Slayton, DeMarcado / Knight, Hawkinson. I would go DeMarcado. Wandale or Samuel, Debo, Hall or Flowers. Longtime suffering Chet fan doesn't trust Brees here. I agree with you. I don't think anyone should be trusting Brees heavily against the Cleveland Browns. I would go Flowers. You got Wandale over Debo. I don't think that's that crazy of a take, honestly. I got Debo 18, Wandale 20. Should I start Jackson Dart or Jalen Hurts? My opponent has Jordan Love, and they're playing on Monday night. I mean, I have Hurts over Dart, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, I have Dart over Hurts. I'd go Dart. I have Dart 5, Hurts 6. Need a Jalen Warren touchdown. Was that third down here? Did they get stopped? Oh, my fucking God. Number 2 was wide open. Josh Downs. It's weird to see Josh Downs in number 2 because he used to be number 1. I don't know if anyone else got thrown off mightily by that with Sauce getting traded there. He was wide open. Pick one, Monangai, JMO, or Slayton. I would go JMO. Hurts or Herbert? I would go Hurts. Nope, I would go Herbert. Should I start Monangai or Hawkinson? Dude, I don't want to play Hawkinson. I would go Monangai. That's twice they got stuff down there. That's brutal. Full PPR need a big game from wide receiver since Pittman is buns today. Nico Collins, Tedero McMillan, or Stephon Diggs. You got to go Nico. You got to go Nico. Nico Collins. Look, I get Davis Mills stinks. Yeah, middle of the field was empty. I know. There was literally no one around him within a school zone of him. I understand that Davis Mills is bad. I understand that the offensive line is bad. But look, if I'm Davis Mills, I'm throwing the ball into Nico Collins 15 times. Now, I understand that not every quarterback operates that way. Not every quarterback's Joe Flacco, right? Who's like, oh, you know what? We got Jamar Chase on our team. Let's throw the ball to him 7,000 times. That's what I would do, right? Obviously, I'm not good enough to be in the NFL. That's why I talk about it. But if I was the quarterback, I would just feed the ball to, Nico Collins is by far the best player on that team. He's the best player on that field. Throw him the ball 15 times. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think he's got a solid target share in the offense, and I really think Davis Mills is actually pretty underrated. The problem is with Davis Mills is just the offensive line is so bad. Yeah, I'm going Collins. I mean, if any of those guys is going to score 25 plus fantasy points to take you back from the deep depths of hell you may be in, it's Collins. And I do apologize about Michael Pittman. Again, the thing about these games that are overseas are they're weird, right? And a guy, what's up, John? And a guy like Pittman, who's pretty consistent, him shitting the bed isn't that shocking. It's not that shocking because it's overseas. If this was in the United States, the USA, and he shit the bed, I'd be really mad. But yeah, I would go Collins. I have the same ranking spot. I got Fannin 10, Loveland 12. Aaron Jones is playing. No, I'm playing Gadsden over him. Dart or Stafford? I would go Dart. If I trade Fannin, who should I be targeting? It's so hard, genuinely, to just give you like a blanket answer. Who should you be targeting? If you want the biggest return on investment, you would trade the other two tight ends. The problem is your team is good enough that you just need a running back. Like, you just need to find. I mean, you have good running backs, so I don't even know what you would trade him for. Maybe a quarterback. But I think you have a good quarterback, too, so I don't really know who you would trade him for, if I'm being completely honest with you. Swift, Monungai, Gadsden. I would go Swift and Gadsden. Baker, Dart, Goff, or Stafford. I would go Dart. What's up, John? I listened to you and picked up the Panthers D. Let's hope they have a good game. I've got Rome. Worried about the weather. Yeah, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. See, I get why people get worried, but there's no way in your right mind you could possibly actually consider him, playing him, right? There's no way you're considering playing Quentin Johnston or JMO over Rome. Like, there's no way you would actually feel good about doing that. I get why you are because you're worried about the weather, but the weather will not play as big of an effect as you think it will. Yes to Aaron Jones? No, I would play Gadsden over Aaron Jones. Do I play Tet? Is he a decoy? I mean, I'll show you the video again. He does not look like a decoy. Like, does this look like a guy that... Oh, shit. I don't want the sound on. Like, I don't know. I don't think so. Look at this. That looks normal. It looks like a normal warm-up, so I'm playing Tet. ETN, Addison, Monungai for the flex, Mariota, or JJ McCarthy. I'd go JJ and ETN. JT, baby. Khalil Shakir or Quentin Johnson Shakir. Should I start ETN or Shaheed in my flex? I would go ETN. Otten or Hunter Henry? Otten. Swift, Monungai, Gadsden. Gadsden and Swift. You have Josh Allen. Yeah, exactly. So there's literally nothing you can do. Yeah, sorry about Danny Dimes today, but again, this is what happens when the games are not in the fucking United States of America. The games are never as good. I think it might hit the over though, this game, if both teams score again, which I would think is possible. I have Danny Dimes. How many points does he have? He's got 15. I mean, 15 isn't that bad, in all honesty. Like, I don't think you could truly hate him, for 15 points. How many points does Bijan have? That's my bigger question. In my one league, he's got 9, which I think is probably higher than other leagues because we get like those stupid first down bonuses. Him only scoring 9 points though is terrible for my team. Bad look. Should I start Marvin Harrison Jr. or Chris Olave? I'd start Olave. Drop Charbonnet for Otten. No, I'm holding Charbonnet unless you really need to start Otten. NHJ or Olave. Keenan Allen or Monungai, Keenan Allen. DeMarcado, Terrell Jennings or Musgrave, DeMarcado. And I'm fine if you want to play MHJ over Olave. I was thinking of trading Kittle and Tracy for Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know in what world someone would actually do that, but yeah. I noticed that the opposing tight ends do great against the Vikings defense. I'll tell you right now. Let's see. Yeah, 12th best matchup for tight ends. The 12th best matchup for tight ends. So Andrew should have a good day. Fannin or Loveland? Fannin. Tracy, Loveland, or Keenan Allen? Keenan Allen. It says Swift is starting. He is, yeah. He is starting. But they're going to go with the hot hand approach. So whoever the starter is doesn't technically matter. What about Travion or Laporta? I would go I'm going Laporta. Otten or Fannin? If you want 10 points, play Travion. If you want more, play Laporta. Otten or Fannin? Fannin. Henderson or Kincaid? I'd go Henderson. Diggs, Debo, T-Mac. Going Diggs and Debo. Any concern around Fannin and his hamstring? See, again, to me, the Browns are the kind of team where if Fannin was actually hurt, I don't know why. Like, so I'm talking about like actually hurt, I guess is the bad way to put it. If he was not actually good to play, I don't think he'd be playing. Because when you have Njoku and your team is dog shit, like you don't need Fannin to be out there, right? That's just kind of how I look at things. You don't need to force him out there. So I feel pretty good about Fannin. Help! Garrett Wilson, Romeo Dobbs. Garrett Wilson. Nico. I don't know why I read my own name wrong. Keenan Allen or Tet? I'd go Tet. Patriots or Packers? I'd go. Man. What are the Packers? I'm going Patriots. Aaron Jones or Monty Aaron Jones? Is there a day where he isn't? It's just a day where he isn't thrown to Pittman whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% paying attention to the game, obviously. If I'm talking to you guys, it's hard to, you know. Oh, JT. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's a touchdown. What a fucking run from Jonathan Taylor. That was crazy. Malik Washington or Demario Douglas? I would go with Demario Douglas. Pick 2 wide receivers in a flex. A.J. Brown. That was a crazy run. My God. Pick 2 wide receivers in a flex. A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Wan'Dale Robinson, Quentin Johnson, Travion Henderson, Gadsden. Man, that's a good question. I would go Waddle. I'd go A.J. Brown. And I would go Gadsden. Kamani Vidal or Monagai? Kamani Vidal. Penix looking like cheeks, yeah. Douglas. Yeah, Penix is not very good. I mean, I don't think that's really a surprise, though, to anyone that Penix isn't the best. He is better, though, than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins gives them no juice. Zero juice at all. He is juiceless. The juice is loose. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to just make sure I have all the out guys out in my lineup. I mean, in my rankings. I'm going to upload the rankings because I've been tweaking them. I've been messing with it as we've been talking. As we've been speaking. Penix look like cheeks. Need help. 2 of 4. Keenan and Devonta for me. Yeah, that's fine. Harrison or Gadsden? I'd go Gadsden. Kittle or Tet? I'd go Tet. Spock or Nick? I have Baker, but can get Dart. Yeah, I'd go Dart. Guys, Dart or Herbert? Standard league. I would go Herbert. Gadsden or Loveland? Gadsden. DeMarcado or Singletary? DeMarcado. JT is insane. Yeah, he is. Man, I was so wrong on JT this season. And the biggest reason as to why I was off of him, one was his health. I'm pretty sure he's on average played 11 and a half games a season over the last 3 years. And for 2, he was so bad last year until the final like 4 games. And then if you had him, you literally won your league because of him. But you also might have just missed your playoffs because of him. But I really thought Daniel Jones wouldn't be that good and we'd kind of be in quarterback limbo all year. That was wrong too, right? Obviously, Daniel Jones is playing well. The offense is playing really well. So I was just wrong on that. That happens sometimes, you know. You'll be wrong on guys. Should have been more on JT, strictly because of his skill, right? I've always hyped up JT as one of the better running backs in the NFL. It's just his health has been a big concern. Choose 2. Rashad White, Monangai, or Rome or Rashad White. Not feeling good, but Rashad as my flex choice. Yeah, I don't feel great about it either, but he is a very talented player. And I also think that the offense is better than what we've seen recently. Like, I just think that Baker is better than what we've seen recently. So that in itself should help Rashad White and the offense. Jonathan Taylor's basically just a lock to be a top 5 running back every week. He's going to be next year. Fast forward, is Jonathan Taylor the number 1 pick? Probably. Wow. What wide receiver should I try to get for Bijan? Do not trade Bijan Robinson. Unless you have a million running backs, you're only trading Bijan if you can get like Amon-Ra St. Brown, someone of super high pedigree, because Bijan is the second best running back in fantasy football, third best, right? Like, I would not feel comfortable at all trading Bijan Robinson away unless you have Bijan, JT. Trying to think of who else you would need to like be able to actually trade him. You would need so many good running backs. Let me adjust my kicker rankings real quick. The way you make me feel. Did you guys see the Michael Jackson biopic trailer? People were hating on that shit on Twitter. I thought it looked pretty cool. I don't know a lot about Michael Jackson, if I'm being honest with you. The way you turn me on. Is that the song they sing? I do like Michael Jackson. That was music. Would not go to his house though if I was a child. Morning. Sit 1. PPR. Quentin Johnson. Keenan. Nico. I'm saying QJ. Morning, Nick. Flex Vidal or Monagai? I would flex Vidal. Theo Johnson or Fannin? Fannin. Looked like me running to the bathroom after eating White Castle. Dude, the last time I had White Castle was on prom weekend in high school. I don't understand why the fuck we went to White Castle while we were down the shore. That was legitimately, I I actually like White Castle's food. That thing destroyed my stomach, I think, for the next 3 to 7 business days. And I'm not someone that like eats stuff and like my stomach gets messed up. Like whatever they make that stuff out of, I'll mess you up. There's also like no White Castle that's like super close to me either. Like are White Castles just like not a thing anymore? Entirely possible that they're just not as popular anymore. I'm getting smoked by JT. Yeah, JT's lighting people up. DeMarcado over Singletary for sure. Do we think JT is matchup proof or a sell high? I am not trading away Jonathan Taylor. Like, for me, when you have a guy that's this good, like you can't overthink things. And what you're doing right now is overthinking it. You are just you're thinking way too much about this. He has proven to be matchup proof. Like, there's only a few running backs in fantasy football that you truly feel like, that's just a top 5 running back every single week in my rankings. And he's one of them. I'm not trading Jonathan Taylor. Schultz or DeMarcado? I would go Schultz. Dowdle or Jalen Warren? Dowdle. Dowdle is a must-start top 6 running back. Do I trust the Panthers? No. But I haven't trusted the Panthers every single game this season. And I guess week 1, I actually kind of trust them because I thought that they were going to build upon what they did last year, and they did not. But, man, does that offense look good. I mean, man, does Rico look good running the rock. You might just get hit with the Rico McMiller. The way you make me feel. Oh, shit, there's a super chat. Sorry. Swift or Monangai, or start both and take out Jennings. Sorry about that. I did not realize you super chatted. Yeah, I would not be comfortable playing both Bears running backs because, again, while they say that it's going to be a split, do we really believe that? I don't. I think, look, if you're in a pickle and you have to play Monanga, I get it. I have him ranked pretty fairly, I think, as like the running back 25. I would not feel good about playing both of them at all in my lineup at the exact same time. I would feel much better putting I don't even like Jennings, and I'd rather play Jennings than Monanga. Now, if we got to this scenario and they were like, Monungai is going to start, I would be fine playing both of them. But in the scenario with Swift as the starter, I think people are a little bit too high on Monungai. So Swift and Jennings for me. William, thank you for the super chat. Flex DeMarcado, Loveland, or Singletary. Sorry, I just burped into the microphone. My bad. It was the soda I drank this morning. It does me dirty. But I don't drink soda, so if I don't drink anything in the morning, I'll just pass out on stream. So I do apologize. DeMarcado, Loveland, or Singletary. DeMarcado on paper is the running back one on the team. How strong is that paper? I don't know. Singletary, Tracy's still going to get the first crack at it based on everything that I've read. So that doesn't feel the best either. I think I would just go Loveland and just pray to the gods that he gets, 5 targets. I think if you just want to score 8 to 10 points, you just play DeMarcado. You just accept it. You just take it, But if you want more upside, which I assume you want, I would go with Loveland. Cole Kmet being back really lowers the floor, but that's what I would do. That is what I would do. I got absolutely smoked in DFS on the early slate, by the way, on this game. I put in $60 worth of lives. I'm not winning a single dollar. No boy, no. Man, that's brutal. Probably just because, I had too much Pittman and Josh Downs. That's really what it was. All right. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're getting our lick back on the next slate anyways. But yeah, I would definitely go Loveland. The upside just feels by far the strongest with Loveland. All right. Hey, bro, need a flex. Montgomery, Warren, or Monungai? I'm going to go Warren. Again. Monungai just kind of feels like the kind of pick you make where you're hoping everything goes well, and then it just doesn't, right? That's kind of how I feel about that. It feels like a little bit too optimistic, like a little bit too, like you're a little too happy about how good he looked last week. I think that's kind of how my read is on him. Like, I don't think he's going to completely go bust and be terrible, but it is possible. And Warren's just been so consistent. And Montgomery has not really even been a consistent RB2. He's more of like a high-end RB3. So thank you for the super chat, Rob. I'm easily going Warren. Easily. Egbuka or Henderson? Egbuka. Vidal or Kamara? Vidal. Egbuka or Henderson? Egbuka. Monagai or Moore? Debo, Shakir, Tracy, Monagai, Marks. Debo and Shakir. Dak or Hurts? Dak is out. Or Dart or Hurts, sorry. I don't know what the fuck about that is. Dak. I would go Dart. I know Vidal is more ideal, but Kamara's a better matchup. Dude, Kamara could be going up against me, and I wouldn't play Kamara. Kamara could be going against our 11 best from this chat, and I think we're stopping him. So that's how I feel about him. Not very high praise, if we're keeping it a buck. Not very high praise for him. The way you turn. Igbuka or Henderson. Oh, I already answered that one. Did Bijan just score? Oh my god, that's Tyler Algier in there. Diggs, Rome, Travis Etienne. I'd go Rome. Does this dude only do super chats? No. If I only did super chats, you wouldn't have seen like a majority of the questions in today's video get answered. No. I already set them to you, Dad, a while ago. Igbuka or Henderson? Igbuka. I do give the super chats question priority though. That is true. Vidal or Jones? I'm still going Vidal. Dick is my goat. Thank you. Henderson, Monagai, or Tez? Henderson. Yeah, and please, guys, do not spam the chat. Please do not spam the chat. I answer so many questions. Like, you don't have to spam to get your question answered. All right. Fucking Algier, man. Hey, man, love your stuff. Thank you, James. I love you too. Let me know your thoughts. Monangai or Tet? Yeah, again, it's just I don't feel good at all about Tedero McMillan. I mean not Tedero McMillan, about Monangai. Something just reeks of him not being anywhere close to as good as I want him to be. Just because I think if they're going with the hot hand approach, if you end up seeing Swift go out there and on the first drive he gets 2 carries for 8 yards, like you're just never going to see enough Monungai to feel remotely good enough playing him. Now I understand it, like is Tedero McMillan the definition of consistency, the poster boy of consistency? Of course not. Of course not, but I definitely would feel much better about Tedero McMillan. Significantly better about Tedero McMillan. There's Draco London with the 2-point conversion. Spicy game we got going on here. Yeah, I would definitely go Tedero McMillan. I feel way better about him. And I'm gonna be right back. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go blow my nose. It's gonna be like a minute. I just have to go walk upstairs. But yeah, I'm gonna go Tedero McMillan for sure. And if you guys got questions, Spock's in the chat. I'll be back in half a second. Sorry about that. My nose was hella clogged. I don't know if you guys could tell from the way I was talking. I don't know if I sounded a little bit stuffed, but yeah, definitely gonna go with Tedero over Monungai. I just feel way better about the amount of touches Tedero will get. Now, again, if this was last week, right, where Swift is out, just say Swift is out of this game, which he's not, it would so obviously be Monungai, but not in this scenario. Loveland or Fannin? Vern, thank you for the super chat. It's gonna be Fannin for me. Nothing against Loveland. Nothing against Loveland. But it's more just if Cole Kmet is back, which he is, how much do you trust Love? Like, how much do you trust the amount of usage he gets? Down. Realistically, if I was the coach of the team, I would be force feeding the ball to Loveland after like trying to get the ball to Loveland as much as possible. If I was the coach of the team, you want to know why? Because of how good he played last week. Let's keep getting him the rock. It's a heat check, right? But Cole Kmet's going to get a lot of usage as well. Dunze did nothing last week, so the odds of Dunze does nothing again is so slim. So, in my opinion, I would definitely go with Fannin. He is just such a safer bet. I know the Browns' offense is 9,000 gazillion million quadrillion times worse than the Bears, right? But for me, I'm gonna lean the way of Fannin. Fannin for me. Fannin for me. Thank you for the super chat. Drake or Caleb? I would go Drake or Caleb. That's a good question. Drake or Caleb? All right, now I gotta check my phone real quick because I have not been looking at it, seeing if there's any messages from Patreon. Caleb or Drake? I got Drake 3, Caleb 9. That's not really like a super duper negative indictment on, the guy that I have ranked 9. So it is close for me. Do I want to move Caleb above Baker? I kind of want to, but I'm gonna have to update the ranking. I'm gonna go Caleb over Baker, and I'm gonna have to update those right at the end. But yeah, Caleb or Drake May. I'm definitely gonna go Drake May. Drake May is just 9,000 times more consistent than Caleb. Right? We've seen Caleb with 4 great matchups in a row, and we've only seen a great game in one of those. Now, I'm not saying that. I mean, one great game, one top 10 game, right? So I'm not saying that Caleb Williams sucks. I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is bad. Don't take it as that. But it's just Drake May feels like so safe. Whereas you could see Caleb, even in a good matchup like this, be like the quarterback 20, right? There are some quarterbacks that are much more not matchup proof, but just much more trustworthy. And I put Drake May in the I trust him category. Whereas, in my opinion, Caleb is in the I will play you because you have a good matchup, but I wouldn't be shocked if you really shit the bed and scored 8 fantasy points, right? Like, so while I like Caleb a lot this week, and I will mark Caleb as a start for a lot of you guys, it'll be Drake May for me. Drake May for me. Flex, Kamara, or McMillan. Also, Shaheed or Marks. Great question. Now, the fact that Cooper Kupp is playing does worry me slightly about Shaheed, but Marks also isn't a guy that I would put all of my trust in either, right? I wouldn't want all my gold doubloons bet on him. The Texans this week are facing off against the Jaguars. In terms of a matchup at running back, the Jaguars are bad. It's the 25th best matchup. They love Nick Chubb still for some odd reason. So that's just another reason to be concerned. So for me, I would personally lean with Shaheed just because I feel a little bit safer about the amount of touches Shaheed gets. And while they both have kind of low floors, the ceiling of Shaheed is just way higher. So I would go Shaheed. And then Kamara or McMillan. Look, I get if you are worried about McMillan's health. I get being concerned about that. But Alvin Kamara at 200% health, right? He could teleport back a few years. With how bad this offense is, I don't even think he would be that successful. So I would go with Ted McMillan. Kamara, to me, if there are other upside running backs you can pick up, I think it's perfectly fine to just get rid of them because, like, I know this might sound sad. Like, this sounds sad, but what are the odds that at any point in the season you ever feel good enough to actually play him? Right? What are the odds of that? To me, the odds are very low that you would ever actually feel good enough to throw him into your lineup. As sad as that might sound. So I'm definitely going Tedero, and I'm definitely going to go Shaheed. You leave Drake alone. I do like Drake May. I'm a Drake May truther. Hey, Nick, what's up? What's up, Hanover, man? How you doing? Debo, Olave, or J-Mod? Go Debo. Schultz or DeMarcado? I would go Schultz. You'd rather play the safer floor. Honestly, I think Schultz. Schultz, I think, is both the safer player and the highest upside player. I guess technically DeMarcado might be slightly safer, but you still can't even guarantee he gets the most touches. So I would just go Schultz. Danny Dimes needs Metcalf, Addison, Montgomery. I would go with Metcalf and Addison. And he needs a dime bag fact. You're 7-2. Very nice. Yeah, that was a good scramble before. Dart or McCarthy? I'm going Dart. Again, the weather isn't that bad. It's not that bad. Obviously, is this ideal weather for the game? No. But it's not that bad. Like, we've seen bad weather games. Um, this is not one, like, obviously it's not the best weather. Obviously, I'm not gonna sit here and fucking, you know, give the gawk gawk 9,000 special to the weather gods that are giving us this weather, but I'm not really that worried about it personally. Mark Andrews and the Buccaneers. You know you make me feel. All right. Just making sure I'm not missing any super chats. Rico, Brees, Judkins, Rashad White. Pick one to sit. I'm sitting Rashad White. Henderson versus White. I like White better, but Hendo's a little bit safer. I might have moved Hendo over White. Let me check. Because I did have White ranked really high, and then I think I fucked with things because I don't trust him as much as I did a couple days ago. Yeah, Hendo over White. I have Hendo 17, White 18. White 18. Even though that's not even a real call. Grade 18. It's hot. I can just scream about Aaron Rodgers. JJ going 9 this week. He's going 9 mode, baby. Pick 2. Olave, Uga Buga Buka, or Garrett Wilson. Olave is going to be the odd man out. I think Olave still has a very safe floor. I would not diminish Olave's floor due to one down game. Now, the biggest problem with Olave is just the quarterback situation. They could go back to Spencer Rattler, and it's still the exact same scenario, right? They're just two guys that aren't very good at quarterback. Like, if you had Olave on the Bills, right? That was a rumor, right? Oh, he's gonna get traded to the Bills. Obviously, that didn't happen. But if you gave Olave Josh Allen, we'd be talking about Olave as a top 6 wide receiver every single week. But we're talking about Olave with Tyler Shuck, right? So it just severely suppresses his value. I again think that the game against the Browns isn't necessarily one that reeks of this is going to be Garrett Wilson's best game of the season, right? Because they're not going to be down throwing the ball late. In my opinion, like, I think this is going to be one of those games where if you're just watching Red Zone, right? If today you're a Red Zone watcher, I'm not sure everyone watches the game. Everyone watches differently. Some of you guys are watching Red Zone. Some of you guys are just watching your favorite team. Some of you guys, like me, are watching 8,000 different games. You have like a million TVs. That's just how it goes. But if you're watching Red Zone, you might not even see the Jets game a bunch of times, right? You might just forget it happens. Then you'll see like some crazy run from Judkins, and you'll be like, what the fuck? I forgot that game was even going on, right? But I still trust Wilson more than I trust Olave. So, and especially with how Wilson's played this season, Wilson and Igbuka for me. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, XDJ. I appreciate you as well. There haven't been a lot of bots today. I mean, I say that as I just banned another one. And it's also entirely possible that the mods have also banned them, but it just doesn't show up on my end because I'm not technically on YouTube when I'm streaming. I'm in like some alternative universe that throws the questions onto my screen. And by it throws questions on my screen, I mean I click on them and they go on the screen. I could stream using OBS. It would be way cheaper. I pay I think like $50 or $60 a month for this thing, but it just looks way better than it would look if I did it. So that's why we rock with it this way. XDJ, Dart or May? May. Dart or May? I'm going May. Dart or May? I'm going May. And then Parker Washington or Quentin Johnston? It's Quentin Johnston for me, just because again, Parker Washington has such a bad matchup. Now he's going to be the wide receiver one on the team. He's going to get enough targets. So anyone that's playing Parker Washington, you're going to be fine, right? It's going to be an okay game, but expecting anything outside of just an okay game, in my opinion, is a little bit crazy because I think it's just going to be a safe showing, just a fine showing, nothing crazy, nothing special, but just fine, right? Whereas I think that QJ could be much more than fine. Right? He could be the moon scoring 30 fantasy points. Now, if you're like, Nick, I actually just want to be safe. I just want to get the floor. I want to get my 10 points and not worry about, Quentin Johnson potentially scoring 0 like he did up against the Vikings. And that's also fine to take the other route and go with Parker Washington. But if it's my team, I'm looking for the upside of QJ and I'm going with Draco May. Boom, 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 boom. Drake needs to take the Colts to State Farm. Draco May, baby. And I know we're talking about Drake London. I love Drake London, man. I got so much shit this summer about my Drake London love. People are like, Nick, you like Drake London way too much. He's not even that good. And I get why people said he wasn't that good because they weren't really watching. A lot of people will just, they watch the games, but they're not watching, like, they're not analyzing the film or anything. They're not watching how good he actually is. So a lot of people were just shitting on him because he wasn't putting up the statistics, but it was the quarterback play. And I get the quarterback play now isn't like, imagine Drake London. This is another guy. Imagine you had Drake London and you had someone that was like an actually good quarterback. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this guy's like the best wide receiver in the NFL. But instead, we have him with Penix. So no one thinks he's even like a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Even though he has, in my opinion, the best hands in the NFL. And is one of the best, if not the best, contested catch receiver in the NFL. We bleed blue. Monagai or Tracy? I would go Monagai. Nope, I would go Tracy. Thanks, man. No problem. Dobbs, Flowers, or Jennings? I would go Flowers. Pick one. Tez. Swift or Monagai? Swift. Lad, DK, Keenan, Wilson, T-Mac, Tez, Lad, and Wilson. Pick two. White, Monangai, Vidal, Gadsden, and Vidal. Here comes the Mooney. I'm dropping Mooney. He's taking up too much space on my bench. Yeah. The thing about Mooney is it's just another scenario where if Drake London's going to keep getting this many targets, Darnell Mooney is not a guy that you're going to trust. Now, Pitts, I don't think Pitts is having a good game, at least just based on like the eye test. I haven't been staring at like the statistics. Pitts is also kind of in a similar scenario, but I just trust Pitts a little bit more because Pitts has a safer target share. But Mooney's just kind of the odd man out there. Cade Otton or Fannin? I would go Cade Otton. I would go Fannin. Sorry, Fannin. Hey, man. Full PPR. Debo, Dobbs, Tet, or DJ Debo? Another intentional grounding. Let me guess. The Colts clapped. Jamo or Monagai? I would go Jamo. The penalties this year, I haven't looked this up, so I don't know for sure. So don't, take what I say as the gospel here. But does anyone else feel like there's been way more penalties this year than years prior? I don't know if that's actually true. But that's just like a blanket statement. I would go Jamo or Monagai. Yeah, the game's going OT. I hope JJ doesn't go off. Justin Jefferson or JJ McCarthy? Kind of confusing. They have two guys that are called JJ on the same exact team. People call Justin Jefferson, Jay Jettas, JJ. I've heard like a million different names for these guys. Shout out to Jersey Jerry. I don't know if anyone saw that last week. The guy bet $300 on, I think it was like a 4 touchdown parlay and won, I think, $170,000. That is fucking crazy. Swift, Monangai, Gadsden. Swift and Gadsden. Swift, Monangai, Jacobs, Kamara, Charbonnet, DeMarcado. Swift, Jacobs, and DeMarcado. Should I play McCarthy over Dart because of the weather? No. No. I genuinely am wondering, like, are other channels that talk about fantasy football, are these guys like are these guys like fucking scared to death of the weather? Like, I'm actually curious because I don't watch a lot of other fantasy content. Like, do people really hype up is this some fear tactics people are using to be like super scared of the weather? And I'm not talking about you necessarily because I've got a bunch of questions about it. Like, if you ask someone else about this, like, are other people panicking more than I am? Because I think it's like just a pretty measured approach, not to full on panic off of a guy that has been as good as Jackson Dart just because it's a little windy. And I'm not talking negatively about you guys, of course. If you take that, JJ to JA. Devonta to Rashad or Metcalf, boys. You need your help. Can't afford a dud. I got you, brother. It's Devontae. Thanks, bro. No problem. Who wants to be safe? Exactly. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Gadsden, Metcalf, or Keenan Allen. I would go Gadsden. I could have went Jawan or Loveland over Fannin. No, go Fannin. I'm playing last place this week, and I'm currently 7th. with the same record as 5th and 6th, but I have the least amount of points overall. Well, you know what, man? How fantasy football works is typically the guy with the best team in the regular season typically doesn't win. I don't know. Maybe this is just obviously this is just anecdotal evidence, right, from the leagues that I've played in over the years. But typically, whenever I have the best team, I'm like, yeah, I'm winning this shit. I got the most points. I'm in first place. That's the league I don't win. But the league I do win is the one where my team is like mid pack, right? It's like the 6th best team or the 5th place team just barely made it in. And then the whole team just locks in during the playoffs and I win. That's normally what happens. Or the worst ever, though, is when you have like the best team in the league and your team goes crazy when you have the bye week, right? Week 15 or whatever, 14. And then once you actually have to go play, your team is just absolutely just plays absolutely terrible. The amount of times that has happened to me is hilarious. Lad, DK, Keenan, Wilson, T-Mac, Tez, Wilson, and Lad. Bills or Panthers? I would go with the Bills. Travion or Monagai? Travion. I'm just making sure there's no new super chats. I don't want to miss anything. Swift, Jacobs, DeMarcado. Texans a good pickup for this week due to the matchup. They're fine. They're fine. Oh, next week. Who the fuck are they playing? The Titans. Yeah, that's a great matchup. That is a great matchup next week. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. No problem, Rachel. Start. DJ Moore, bad weather conditions, or Demario Douglas. I'm playing DJ Moore again. I get worrying about the weather, but I think a lot of people are really over panicking. Need a flex, Allen or JMO. I'd go Allen. Kicker. Dude, I hate kicker questions. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Because it's the position I think the least about. And probably the position I'm probably the most wrong on. I got McManus 14. Santos 10, but there's a little bit of the weather factor. Oh, it's Prater, obviously. It's Prater. I didn't even have to. I don't know why I even sat there typing them in. I knew that the answer is Prater. Game going into OT. This is a pretty good game. Like, in terms of, it's not like the most, offensive battle type of game, but it is an interesting game. And just as I predicted, even though the game kind of sucked, right? We saw a lot of bad plays. The game does go over. Interesting. Just for the routine, rate my starting team. Because Bowers shit the bed, you're going to get like an 8.5. Yeah, it does seem like more penalties. I agree with you. Nick, Metcalf or Dobbs? Metcalf. Okay, I'm going to scroll a little bit further down. Caleb or Fields? Caleb for me. Fields has actually been really, 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 really good this season when healthy. But this week he's playing up against the Browns. Again, this doesn't seem like the kind of game where Fields is able to get those garbage time touchdowns, right? That's what we love Justin Fields for. It's the garbage time work, right? It's when the team is getting their back blown out, the Jets are losing, they're down bad, and then the guy just goes out there and throws 2 touchdowns at garbage time where he runs one in, and a day that looked dead, right? A day where you had him for the first 4 quarters and you're just thinking, or the first 3 quarters, you're like, Nick, you're an idiot for telling me to play him. And then he comes through at the last second. The game against the Browns doesn't seem like that kind of a game. And what I mean by that is, like, it's not going to be it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be a blowout. So they're not going to be able to get into garbage time where the defense kind of chills out and Fields is able to kind of dice them up. So I'm going to go with Caleb. Again, there's the weather factor, but I'm just not that worried about the weather. I'm more worried about Caleb himself than I am about the weather, right? Like, if Caleb goes out there and shits the bed, people will be like, oh, Nick, I told you so because the weather, that's not going to be why. It's not going to be the weather. It's going to be because he is just untrustable, but I trust him way more than Fields. So it's Caleb. Caleb for me. You ever rated an abysmal team? Of course. Not everyone has a great team, obviously. People will draft a team that I hate, and the team ends up being great, right? Obviously, right now, we're so far into the season that it's kind of, you just know if your team is good or not. And a lot of the time at this point, no one's going to ask me to rate their team if their team is just bad, right? A lot of the time, people are like, oh, rate my team because your team has like 8,000 studs on it. You're like, look how good I am, We buy homes near you. Thank you for the super chat. Aaron Jones, Henry or Diggs, non-PPR. I'm going Henderson. I think this should be the best Diggs game yet, but in a standard league, you really need the touchdown, right? At wide receiver, you really need the touchdown. And Diggs seems like the kind of guy that, he scored his first touchdown of the season. Was that last week? Like, he's not a big touchdown guy, even on this team, right? So that's concerning. Aaron Jones is playing banged up. Aaron Jones could easily get banged up again and, mess his shoulder up slightly and be out for the game. So I think Henderson's probably your safest bet, and that's where I would go. DJ, weather's not as bad as they say. Yeah, I agree. Schultz or Parker Washington? Schultz. Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, or Garrett Wilson? Aaron Jones or Garrett Wilson. Vidal, Henderson, Monungai. It's going to be Henderson and Vidal. Dobbs, Debo, Tet, DJ, Debo. You missed my question. Now just ask it again. Walker or Aaron Jones? I'd go Aaron Jones. I'll go Aaron Jones. And just so you guys know, if there's no super chat questions going on, I typically will just read around where the super chat question was, and then I realized that I was like really far behind, so I just started reading more up-to-date questions. This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. All right, I gotta get the rest of my DFS lineups in real quick. Right quick. How many we got left? 5. Okay, we're almost done. Tito's ex-wife, thank you for the super chat. Flex 2, please. Swift, White, Tracy, Montgomery. Swift is a must-play, in my opinion. He's a must-play. I really do not think that the Chicago Bears would come out there today with Swift in the lineup if they thought Swift was hurt, right? If they thought Swift was going to be limited, they would have also not said that he was going to start, but they would have 100% have thrown him onto the bench, because why would you risk in this kind of a game? Why would you risk it, right? With how good Monungai looked last week, why would you risk it, right? And that's ultimately what leads me to thinking that he's going to have a really good game, because you wouldn't risk him if you thought he wasn't ready to go, right? If you thought he was going to be hobbled, you would not force him back. So that's how I think about things here. Whether win or lose, we love them. Okay. So Swift, 100%. And then it's a little bit more of a debate between White and, White and Montgomery and Tracy, but I would just go White. I just trust him to get the most amount of touches. And at the end of the day, sometimes that is what you're chasing. Because ultimately in fantasy football, sure, being the best player ever is important, right? Obviously, a better player with more touches will succeed more than a worse player with worse touches. But White is a good running back that gets a lot of touches. I understand the matchup is bad, but you're not sitting him for Tyrone Tracy, who there's just large question marks about his touches, and Montgomery, who there definitely is question marks about his amount of touches. Right? Every week it seems different. Last year, you could just pencil in Montgomery the last 2 years. He's your RB2 and you're fine with it, right? You might not be the most ecstatic man walking around the earth, right? But you are or woman, who's playing fantasy football. You just feel okay, right? You don't feel like you won the lottery because you're playing him, but you feel okay, right? Fuck, what did I just do wrong? Baker, A-Chain, Rico. Oh, that's why. All right. So yeah, for me, it's gonna be Swift, and then it's gonna be White. A quarterback, Caleb or Darnold? Caleb, sling it, girl. Who scores the touchdown? Swift or Monungai? Swift. At running back, I would go Swift and Rashad White. Keenan Allen or Vidal? I would go Keenan Allen. Jackson Dart or Jalen Hurts? I would go Dart. I would go Dart. Swift or Vidal? Swift. 16 team. Starry Shepard or Leggett? I would go Shepard. Cleveland or Detroit's defense? Thank you, Cleveland. Theo Johnson, Fannin, and Njoku? I would go Fannin. Warren having a day? Yeah, I mean, Warren's just a beast. He's just a freak of nature. And there were people getting after me. Oh my God, the Falcons are the worst matchup for tight ends. You don't care about the matchup when a guy's that good. It's really just that simple. And there's Jonathan Taylor. What a fucking run by JT. This guy's just built different, man. Anytime you go up against Jonathan Taylor, you just feel like you are about to get your insides ripped out. That's how I feel, at least. Anytime I have to go up against him, I just pencil that in as a fucking L. I mean, the guy is just that good. He is that good. And Bijan did not have a great game either, which hurts. Baker or JJ? Baker. Baker. Arthur, thank you for the super chat. Make sure you throw your question in the chat. Oh, you already did. Sorry, woos. Sorry, I meant to add. No, it's all good. If you ask the super chat and forget to put the question in there, it's perfectly fine. Sometimes YouTube will A, not let you actually type what you want to type, or B, you might have just instantly clicked it. But that's fine. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Gadsden or Kittle? Gadsden for me. I find it very, 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 very difficult to sit Kittle. Because I am still of the belief that I think Kittle is one of the best, if not the best tight end in the NFL. But Kittle isn't trustworthy, right? Kittle's very up and down. The offense as a whole kind of up and down. Like, they haven't been playing as well recently. But Gadsden, even with the up and downs of the Chargers, he's been playing really well. So for me, I would definitely go Gadsden. Definitely going Gadsden. And it's nothing against Kittle, because again, most of you guys are playing Kittle. Spoiler alert. Most of you guys with Kittle are going to be playing him. But in this scenario, I would go with Gadsden just because I trust him a little bit more. Adrian. Hey, Adrian. Thank you for the super chat. Alvin Kamara, Schultz, Tez, Judy, Andrews, Jawan in the flex. I would flex Tez if you're looking for the most upside, right? If you are looking to try and outright win your league off of, or not win your league, but win your matchup off of one play. You're looking for that big game upside. I would be playing Tez. If you're looking to be safe, I would play Jawan Johnson, but it's going to be Tez for me. It is so easily Tez. I trust Tez by far and away the most out of every single person that is available. I'm going Tez 100%. 100%. And then I just got to update my quarterback rankings on the Patreon. So I just moved guys one spot around, which obviously I have to fix on the Patreon. This is our Colts, whether win or lose, we love them. But yeah, I definitely Tez. Tito's ex-wife. Oh, I already answered this one. There was another one. It was Stan's Krilla. Thank you for the super chat. Metcalf, Goddard, Keenan, Flex, Little as tight end. Kittle as a tight end. Okay, good question. Man, Metcalf really screwed the pooch last week. Do I think that's going to happen again? Probably not. Now, in terms of a matchup up against the Chargers, this is the 29th best matchup for wide receivers. Goddard doesn't feel the most trustworthy, but Goddard has been safe. Now, what did the Steelers rank in that? Steelers are the 4th best matchup for wide receivers. So let's just see something real quick. I got Metcalf 23, Keenan Allen 24, and I have Goddard as the top 10 tight end. I think gun to the head. I think I'm playing Metcalf. I think I'm playing Metcalf. If you have more balls than I do, I think you would play Goddard, but I'm playing Metcalf. I just really don't think he could shit the bed twice in a row like that. I just really don't think so. Riaz, thank you for the super chat. Musgrave or Mason Taylor, love the show. I love you too. So in PPR, I think the answer would be very clearly Mason Taylor, in my opinion. Like, I feel very strong about that because I think he's going to get more volume. But in standard, you're really just looking for the touchdown. And if I had to guess who's more likely to score a touchdown, Musgrave or Mason Taylor, my bet would be on Musgrave. So if this was standard, I'm banging the drum for Mason Taylor. It's not standard. We're going to go Musgrave. Sergio, thank you for the super chat. Should I start Gadsden or Laporta? That's tough because Laporta has been very hit or miss, but his hits have been magnifique, chef's kiss. Like, he has been, when he hits, he's hitting hard, right? He's balling out of control. But Gadsden has been very, very safe. And Gadsden also has the high upside hit of, hey, he could, score 25 plus fantasy points, right? And again, this is a Lions game that feels like the Lions are going to roll the windows down and cruise, have a safe game. So I don't really think this is the kind of game where Laporta is going to go off. He could. It's a great matchup for tight ends, but I just don't think this will be that game. So I don't know. I hate when the NFL app does that, where it's like I'm just trying to look at my lineup and now it's just playing a fucking clip from the game. I'm going Gadsden. Super fast mode time. Hope everyone wins this week. Yes, sir. I hope everyone wins except for Caitlin, because obviously I'm going to beat her. And it's going to be easy. Just kidding. She's probably going to beat me because my team is on a fucking downward skid because my team just it just hates me. Ever since Scoutaboo got hurt, it's all downhill. Jennings, JMO, Vidal. I'm going Vidal. They counted the trade and said Kittle for ETN. No. What game is bad weather? The Bears game. Do I trade Jahmyr Gibbs, MHA, and Wan'Dale Robinson for DeAndre Swift, Jay Jettas, and Troy Franklin? No, I don't think so. Guy with Swift or Brees Hall. It's okay. You don't have to check. There's a website called NFL Weather. That's what I always check. Metcalf, Rashad White, or Devontae Smith? Metcalf, Rashad White. Oh, wait, 1 second. Let me just make sure there's no questions in Discord because I don't want to miss those. Okay, there's not. There's definitely questions in Discord, but not in the Patreon section. Metcalf, Rashad White, or Devontae Smith for me. All right. Who's my wide receiver 2, 3 in flex spot? Debo, Tez, and Henderson. Start Baker, Caleb, or Darnold? Baker. Nope, Caleb. Baker if you want to be safe, but I'm going Caleb. Pick 2. Dallas Goedert, Kittle, or Tez Johnson? I would go Kittle and Johnson. Good luck to everybody. Start with, I already answered that one. Go Pats. The Iceman, Drizzy, Drake May plays in 3 minutes. Shout out to Drake May. Panthers or Bills, D? I'd go Bills. Kate Otten or Schultz, even though I hope, like, the problem with me, man, is I hope the Dolphins lose, but when I'm watching the game, I'm going to be rooting for them to win. Kate Otten or Schultz, I would play Schultz. Wan'Dale or ETN, I'd go ETN. Tez or Tet, Diggs or JMO, Diggs. Hendo or Jalen Warren. I know, I'm trying to stay afloat right now. It's so bad. Zay, Waddle, or Nico? Nico and Waddle. That movie is still so messed up that Rose didn't let Leonardo DiCaprio onto that door. Diggs or JMO? Diggs. Playing JT this week. I'm glad he has a bye. No, next week. Oh, that's good. Henderson or Warren? I would go Warren. Start 2, Zay, Waddle, Nico. Waddle and Nico. Thanks, Nick, and good luck, everyone. Good luck to everyone. Thank you to Spock for answering all the... your Drake May lover, Ty? That's you. Did you see the guy wearing the I Love Drake May shirt after they showed Drake May at the Celtics game? That shit had me dying. All right, all my lineups are set. Best of luck to everyone. Shout out to Spock, obviously, for answering all the questions. See you later, Brian. Appreciate you stopping by. Man, Daniel Jones really bailed us out here with a nice 20-point performance after it wasn't looking too solid. All right. We need a win desperately in a few of my leagues. Thanks, buddy. Have a nice football Sunday. Thank you. Good luck to have fun. Good luck and have fun, everyone. Man, I sat fucking Alec Pierce and Troy Franklin this week in a league where I needed to win. Bijan got me 10. Cortland Sutton got me 5. J.K. Dobbins 9. And I was debating all morning Vidal or Pierce, and I fucking started Vidal. Let's go, everybody. Go Dolphins, baby. Fins up. Thank you for everyone for watching. This is probably our lowest viewed stream in a while, just because of the fact that the game went to overtime. But I do appreciate all the help, and I do appreciate everyone who showed up because there was only like 50 of us in here. Still a great time. So I do appreciate you guys. Good luck to everyone. Good luck. Hope you guys all have a great one. Spock, have fun for the rest of your vacation. I appreciate you stopping by and helping me out. Hope you guys all have a great one. Berlin was fun. Shout out to the Swedish German Andy Richter. Andy Richter is on fucking Dancing with the Stars, and he is an all-time ass dancer, and they keep putting him through. He's funny, and I do like him, but yeah. Pats are on YouTube TV in Cali. That's fire. I got that Sunday ticket, so I'll be watching the Dolphins game. And hopefully we don't fucking lose. Just kidding. I hope we do lose. So have a good one. Fuck the Bills. Love you guys. Have a good one. I appreciate you guys all. Thank you guys again for watching. Shout out to all the mods in the chat. Shout out to Spock, obviously, Tyron, everyone. See you, Skilly. Vidal or K9? I'm going Vidal. See you guys. See you, Tyron. Norm. I miss Norm McDonald. He passed away, right? I'm not crazy. That would have been bad if he didn't, right? And I said he did. Yeah, he did. It was a few years ago. Rest in peace. All right. I'll see you guys. Hope you guys have a great one. Bye.